Good morning, everyone. I'm starting a little bit early with today's Straight Talk Saturday. I am working on technology. Of course, I'm used to doing my Facebook Lives from my computer, and now I'm trying to do it from my phone, which is the way everybody used to do it. But apparently, only certain people can do it from their computer, and I don't seem to have that ability yet. So I am looking for our guest. If you'll just bear with me, I want to invite someone to our guest this morning. And if you will just hang in there, we'll be going on live in just a few minutes. So before we get started this morning, let me go ahead and say this. I invited Danny Singer from Fit2Go to be with us today. And the reason why is because I really feel it's important that as a coach, we share more ideas than just our own. Because I really believe that coaching is collaborative. And as such, well, thanks. Hi, good morning, Ali, and welcome to Straight Talk Saturday. I think it's important that we work collaboratively because not every coach has every skill. And because we have specialties, just like other areas, people in other areas have specialties, I think it's important that we share the knowledge with other people, that we are able to bring in people who can benefit our clients. So if there's something that I don't personally do as as part of what my practice is, I would like to say that I have someone that I can offer to my client to say, here's someone, let me refer you to them. And the reason why I feel that's really important is because without those additional perspectives, we don't really get that whole roundedness. We thank you, Ali. We don't get that the concept that our lives need to be more than just whatever that one thing we're looking at. We may be looking at, losing weight, getting more energy, finding something in life that's missing, and all of that is what is happening here is that we're having a technology thing that's going on, and if I happen to go off, I'll come right back and we'll pick it right up. But right now, I think it's important that you understand the goal here is to make you a well-rounded person. Now that's a phrase I say in quotes because it is an old-fashioned phrase, definitely. It is a phrase that we've heard for years and years, but really what it means is to bring all the aspects in. So that's Danny. He's going to be on shortly as soon as he picks up. We're all working this technology thing out. There's Danny. Hold on. Let's do this. Hey, Danny, let's add you. Oh, my. Oh, well, hang in there, folks. We're still trying to get Danny on here. Nope, don't want this. So let's see if we can add Danny. Oh my goodness, I love technology, but sometimes it makes things so difficult. I see you, Danny, and I am trying to add you. Wow, here we go. It lets me add other people. I can see other people to add, but I can't add you. So Danny, let's see. It has me. It has your name here as a viewer. Why am I not able to add you? Let me search for you again. Hold on one second, folks. Danny. There you are. Let me invite you. All right. And now I can't. Let me see if I can get what you're for whatever reason my phone is not allowing you to come in. So I am trying my best to add you. Oh my goodness, this is not working the way I had hoped it to work. Technology is a fun thing, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Let's see. Danny, I can't even get to your comment, so I am sorry. I don't know what has happened here. It seems that things were working earlier. It doesn't tell me that you're actually watching, and I don't know if that's an issue. Let's see. There you go. There you go. Come on. And I'm tapping on my screen like all get out, and it does not add you. So let's see how we can do this. Maybe, Danny, we should have you on the phone at least. I truly am, I apologize to everybody watching, because who wants to watch somebody struggling with technology? just really not the way to go. But we've had this before on other things where the technology doesn't allow us to do what we think it should let us do, and what do we do with it? We just go with the flow, right? So, Danny, let's see your viewers. There's Danny. And I'm telling you, Danny, for some reason my phone does not, I've invited you, but it doesn't allow you, or it's not bringing you in. So, oops. There we go. Danny, I apologize. I thought this would work a lot easier than what it is, and it's just not doing it. You want to call back and we'll have a telephone conversation on Facebook Live, and we'll work out the snags at this and do it again another time. Why don't you give me a call back and we'll do it. All right, folks, so as we're going through this, it appears there's Danny. Yay! Come on in.
Hey!
Hey!
Yay!
Now
We did it.
Technology finally happened. That was crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad we figured it out.
Wow.
Wow.
And the thing is, I haven't had this issue. Sorry, let me trying to get the volume here so it's not crazy. You know what it is? I have another mic on. Is that better? Not yet.
Not yet.
I think it's me. I tried my sound on. Let me put on headphones. Give me 1 second.
Well, folks, welcome to live broadcast. This is what happens. I apologize if you're getting an echo. Can't figure out what's going on. This is what we're going to do today. We're going to try to make it the best we can. So let me, while Danny's going to get his headset, let me go ahead and bring up to speed. Danny is the owner and CEO of Fit2Go, and I'm going to have him explain. We're going to have to put you in landscape mode.
Trying to connect these headphones.
All right, I think we've frozen up a little bit. All right, well, while Danny's getting situated, let me explain to you why we're doing this. Danny and I discussed yesterday how we complement each other. I work with clients who basically have chronic illnesses and may have an autoimmune condition, be on many medications. And so for them, it may not be the first thing they can do is to get out and exercise. They're not running off to the gym. They're not people that they may have been in the past. And the reason why is because their bodies just aren't conditioned for that. And because It's so important for us to go into everything we do in the best condition that we can. And I'm hoping Danny's going to come back shortly. You need somebody who looks at you more holistically. When you are in a compromised condition, meaning your body is just not the best it can be, then there are things we need to do to make sure that our bodies are conditioned first. So you don't want to jump headlong into exercise. You're saying to yourself that you want to lose weight, you want to feel better, and so what's the thing to do? Do you want to go and exercise a lot? And here's Danny. Let's add him back in. There we go. Now it looks like it's working right because now I got the add button right away. So let me finish my thought here and then we'll talk to Danny. Is the thought that I have here. Welcome back, Danny. I'm just finishing up a thought here. So the reason why you want to have your body conditioned, if you're extremely ill, you can't just race headlong into a solution. You have to take it in steps, incrementally. So looking at how your body is going to respond to something is something more along the lines that a holistic practitioner is going to do that. And Danny's one of the very first people that I've met personally that treats fitness in a holistic way. He doesn't just look at let's ramp up and build those muscles and tone things down and we're going to exercise until you get to the right way. He looks at the whole person. It's a holistic approach that I support 100%, because if you're not well enough to exercise, then any amount of exercise you do may not be helpful to you. You need to get your body into condition. And this is where I think Danny comes in. My expertise is nutrition, getting your health and the aspects of your lifestyle into alignment. And then you balance that out with exercise. And for me, as you know, I have an incremental approach to exercise, and we're going to talk to Danny about his approach. But let's talk about now how we incorporate exercise as a holistic way into our health plan. Thanks, Danny, for being here, and thanks for putting up with all the technology glitches that have gone on.
Yeah, I'm glad we figured it out and we're finally rolling. Yeah, so with Fit2Go, with my focus on fitness, what we do is we reverse engineer. So we look at the client, we look at the person as a person, we look at what their goals are, but we really have to personalize in two ways. So we have to personalize first physiologically, figuring out what exercise and nutrition they need to hit their goals. But the second part, which is just as important that most people overlook, is practically. So we look at, we can design the best fitness program in the world, but if it's not realistic for the person, it's useless. So we have to look at what their schedule is like, what their routines are like, what their other commitments are like, what other time they have, and also what they enjoy. Because most people think that fitness has to be like a curse, has to be awful, like this awful thing they endure so that they can enjoy the benefit. And it doesn't have to be that way. So like, for example, for cardio, there's no benefit to running on a treadmill for an hour versus dancing for an hour or pogo sticking for an hour. It doesn't matter. Like the cardio serves a purpose of getting your heart rate up, improving your cardiovascular efficiency, and burning calories. But there's no reason you have to be going and running on a treadmill if you hate running on a treadmill. So we look at them, we say, okay, maybe you don't play anything now, you don't do anything now, but 10, 20 years ago, maybe back in college, like what did you used to like doing with your body? Because we're in a weird state now where we're intentionally trying to find ways to move our bodies because we're just sitting all day. And there's no reason that should be boring versus figuring out what kind of activities you used to like, even if it's just walking your dog. So figuring out what really works for the person, what they enjoy, I think has to be the starting point, because otherwise it's not going to be a long-term change.
Well, I agree with you. And that's one thing that I always discuss with my clients when we reach the point in their program that we're incorporating more movement. We try movement from the beginning, but when the movement changes into really activities that they're trying to embrace, is we go back and say, what did you enjoy before? And so when they come up with something, we try to build that in. So, and I had asked you this before, working with people who have chronic illnesses and maybe are in pain and not conditioned to work out, how do you start that? How do you get that conversation going to knowing what they're able to do, how they're able to function?
So First of all, I mean, it starts with empathy. And so we were just talking about this, I think, a little yesterday. I myself deal with a lot of chronic pain from Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So, I mean, at age 21, I was able to relate better to 60-year-olds than I could other 20-year-olds. So um, we take a big focus on corrective exercise. Almost all of our clients have at least one chronic musculoskeletal condition, surgery, injury, some kind of pain point that's just been chronic. Um, and so a good trainer will plan around that. Say, okay, do no harm. How can we still get your results without hitting that? What we try to do is take a little bit more within our scope of practice. So I'm also a certified corrective exercise specialist. So we're not physical therapists, but we can focus on with our exercise, doing certain corrective exercise, doing a squat assessment, looking at their movement patterns and seeing, okay, where are you tight? Where are you a little weaker? And then based off getting the report from the doctor in terms of what they can do, but then the report from the patient of what they feel comfortable doing, then we can start piecing together and saying, okay, where do we start, asking for feedback. And it's so key that personal training is not about us. It's not about us putting on a show. It's not about us fixing their lives. We're the guide and we're the coach, we're the friend, kind of gently guiding them along the journey, but it's got to come from them. So we never are telling people to go do this. It's always a conversation. It's
I think you
okay,
mentioned when we were talking, you like to partner with your
yes,
client, and I think that's a good word because in what I do, it is a partnership, and we provide not only the coaching but the support and the accountability. So it is a partnership, and I think that's important to know that in your way of training, it's not just a personal trainer standing there saying, do X number of squats, do X number of lunges. They're actually there to physically help you move in the way that's right for your body at the particular moment in time.
yeah, you nailed it. So like there's the stereotype of a trainer, like if you think of a personal trainer, you probably think of like a coach with like a baseball hat, a whistle, a clipboard, like yelling at you to do more push-ups. And that's not the kind of personal trainers they are at all. Like again, it's and sometimes a client will expect that relationship. They'll be like, oh, you're probably gonna go make me do this, aren't you? You're like, oh man, I really don't. We're like, no, if you don't want to do that, then let's focus on what you do want to do. What are your goals? What do you want to do to hit those goals? And it's really important to have that relationship where it's because it can't be us pushing them to do it. Because our long-term goal, we normally work with clients for about 12 months to make a real lifestyle change. And our long-term goal is basically make ourselves obsolete. So to get to the point where they don't need us anymore. I mean, some clients that just like working with a trainer for years, so they'll continue. But the idea is they shouldn't need to, that they could go off on their own. And we've really built the habits so that it's not just like a short-term thing. Hey, I had a personal trainer push me, now I don't work out anymore. But rather, they've built the habits, they've hit their goals, they know what they're doing, why they're doing it, and they can make that last for long term. So that's the goal whenever we take on a client.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It is to make it a lifestyle habit, and that's the same thing we do with nutrition. You can say, yeah, I like working with the coach, and I like them, making me accountable, and we discuss what we eat and all those things. But at some point, it becomes your own way of being. You have to be responsible for yourself, and so you take on the accountability that you had been learning from somebody else. Somebody else is basically guiding you through that accountability. But at some point, you make it a lifestyle habit. And once it's a habit, it's just something you will do, ongoing. And I use the example of brushing your teeth. When we're little, our
Me
parents
too.
tell you brush your teeth, and you do it every day. So then it becomes a habit. If you fall out of that habit, you may come up with, cavities or other, oral issues. And then you have to retrain yourself and say, this is a healthy habit. I need to do this habit because it's going to give me what I need. You don't want to have to be at the dentist all the time. You don't want to have these issues, losing teeth, needing, other kind of cosmetic work or whatever. And so you build that habit. We need to look at everything that way. I mean, exercising is as important as brushing your teeth. If your body's not moving, all the certain processes actually stop. If you're sitting all day, your digestive process actually stops. It doesn't continue. You have to actually stand up to get that moving again. So tell me a little bit more, like give me maybe a case study or a scenario you would do with someone who has a chronic illness, because as I said, that's mainly the people that I work with, and I'd like them to hear how that would benefit them.
Yeah. So let me think. There's so many examples to choose from. I'll choose the most recent. So we have a client who's actually she's actually a pain surgeon at Hopkins, and she had for the first time ever started experiencing some of her own pain. She's in her 30s. And she started getting some shoulder impingement. So she had some pain on her right shoulder anytime she would lift up overhead. So for that, we partnered with one of our physical therapists. We had her get a screening with them. We found that it was a pretty classic case of shoulder internal rotation. So basically when she's operating, she's putting on this heavy lead and she's in this position kind of hunched over. And so it was causing muscular imbalances, and she was getting some of the ligaments were kind of snapping over the joint over there. So what we focused on with her is we worked together with a physical therapist. If it's like a serious joint issue like that, then we're not going to just be like, all right, we'll push through it. So we worked with a physical therapist, figured out, okay, what do we want to focus on now? What don't we? What's the physical therapist going to do? What are we going to do? But that, I think we talked about this yesterday too. I think that collaboration of care is what's missing most from like healthcare overall, let alone fitness.
Well, I think it's missing primarily from allopathic medicine, because I think they're very siloed. The originating doctor that you go to, your primary care physician, may refer you to a specialist, and then that specialist may give your doctor notes, but there's not a whole lot of teaming going on. It's basically individual silos.
And you're telling your story a million times.
Exactly.
Nobody knows who you are.
And the thing is, you may not tell the story the same way.
Right.
I know when I was ill many years ago, because I had fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, I actually had written out things to take with me, because I knew, because of the symptoms I had a lot of brain fog, I couldn't focus, and if I was in pain, I didn't really get my thoughts together well. So I would take a piece of paper with me with everything written out so I wouldn't forget it. But that shouldn't be our responsibility to do that, 10, 12 times. You should be able to work with all the people who are going to care for you as a team, and that story is generated in some sort of care plan that then all the doctors that are working with you get to see and get to access.
Yeah, this is really cool because we both are trying to fix what we experienced as patients then, because like what I've built and then continuing to work on building with Fit2Go is like, it's what I wanted when I was working on getting in shape. I wanted somebody to just come in and take responsibility for working with me to hit my goals. I didn't want somebody to come in and give me workouts, right? Like, I didn't want just like, okay, got to give me random workout sessions. I wanted a real plan. I want somebody to say, hey, it's my job to work together with you to get you to your goals, which is just what I wanted with a doctor, just what I wanted with everything. And so that's what I tried to build with Fit2Go. Where like, again, like if it's out of our scope, if it's something we can't do, fine. Well, we have a guy who we can bring in or send you to that's going to take care of it, and we're going to work with that person, because we're not experts in everything. We're experts on fitness, not necessarily physical therapy. And so, yeah, like we both built what we wanted for ourselves, which is pretty cool.
Right. And I think it's important for them to understand how our collaboration works. We're both in the greater Baltimore metropolitan area, and we are combining our resources out of Zoetic Wellness, which is a center in Pikesville, Maryland. And Danny and the owner at Zoetic were working together, and we found that there was a great synergy. And putting all the different specialties that Zoetic offers, such as acupuncture and massage and yoga and nutrition and all the health coaching pieces, made sense, because what we're each trying to do individually is put that balance back in our client's life. And yet, as I said, coaching is collaborative. So we need to rely on other coaches that have these expertise. Because of that, we didn't have the component that Danny brings. And so I think it's a wonderful opportunity for us to have that extra piece to bring to our clients and say, hey, at this point in time, we really think you need somebody who focuses on your physical being, your structural, exercise, all the things that go around getting your body into a working order, especially if you've been sedentary. And so that's why I think it's a great way to collaborate, to help our clients expand on their health goals. It's not just about one thing. You don't come just to lose weight. You don't come just to get off of medication. You come to become healthy, become a whole person. And that involves so many things. It's the physical, it's the mental, emotional, spiritual. We have people who do guided spirituality meditations and things that really broaden your life in such a way that it's just so important to bring all those things together. Danny, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you and any information that would be helpful.
Yeah, so our website is fit2gopt.com. It's spelled like that, FIT, number 2, GOPT is in personal training.com. But I'm trying to think of what I can do that's most helpful for your audience. I think what we talked about yesterday was, I want to actually give you something. So there was a segment I did, a Fox 45 segment about the Paul method, which was basically I wanted to make it as simple as possible for people to start exercising, because a big part of the reason why people don't is because there's so much conflicting information. So they feel like no matter what I do, I'm going to be wrong, because I'm going to Google it. I'm going to find 100 articles telling me that I'm an idiot for doing that. So no matter what I do, it's just so overwhelming. So what I tried to do was simplify it and have the smallest barriers of entry. So the Paul method is literally a 10-minute bodyweight home workout. You need no equipment, and it's personalizable in the sense that you can figure, no matter where you're at with your fitness level, it will be a right workout for you because you can choose how intense you're going. So the way it works is really simple. I'll run through it. So it's PAUL is the acronym. It stands for P is for plyometric cardio. Some people can't start there, so some people have to start with low impact cardio. But if you can, plyometric cardio is usually something with jumping, like jumping jacks or something like that. A is for abs, so you might start with the plank, work on your core. U is for upper body, so you might do a push up or you might do an incline push up. If you need to start there, and then L is for lower body, so that's a squat. So if you do those 4 exercises, right? So let's say jumping jacks, plank, upper body is push up, lower body is squat. Those 4 exercises, all body weight, you do them for 30 seconds each, and you take a 30-second break. So at the very minimum, I've even shortened it lately. I'm not even 10 minutes. Now I'll tell people, hey, if you haven't done anything, start with 1 set, 30 seconds of each of these exercises, and you're done. And make that part of your morning routine, because we were talking about habits. It has to be a habit. And so what I tell people is, and this is what we really push our clients. Sometimes it takes a little nudging, but we got to get there where it's literally part of the morning routine. And I love that you said brushing your teeth, because that's what I always want to. I always talk about anchoring. If you anchor your habits, so it's I brush my teeth. It's not, hey, I'm going to work out at some point today. It's my routine is the second I finish brushing my teeth is the second my workout begins. And then I finish the workout, the second my shower begins, and that's when I go to eat breakfast or whatever that is. And it's so cool to see people finally get it, because people will be working on it for weeks, and then bam, they just don't miss a day. And it might be some days they're only doing 2 minutes, and we're doing 1 set, but it becomes part of the routine. So I can share that. That I give you the link to that segment with kind of explaining.
Why don't you just post it in the comments when you when you're done with the video? Then we'll have the comments, and then people who come to see the video we can go right and see yours too.
Awesome.
I think that's a perfect way to do it.
Cool.
So again, we're getting low on time because we had so many technology glitches.
Well, I'm so glad we got to do this. I'm glad
me too. And maybe we'll come back and do it again now that we think we've got it figured out. Yeah. But tell us again how we get in touch with you, and how you see it best for people who, I mean, both local and non-local people, how best to see working with you.
So currently we only serve Baltimore City and County. We messed around with, because we have an app and we have a lot of online component with our in-person clients, because we're coaching them every day, even if we're only seeing them once or twice a week. I didn't like, just for us, for our model, I tested out for like about a year. I didn't like the online, just online. I like seeing people in person for what we do, because we go so in depth. So as of now, we're only doing Baltimore City and County. We do in-home, so our trainers go to our clients' homes and sort of bring everything to them. But in terms of getting in touch, I mean, first of all, I'm a person, so you can friend me on here. You can talk to me on here. I'd love to hear from you, especially if you have chronic pain or any questions or anything like that. But other than that, if you want to join, if you go to our website, fit2gopt.com, if you want to join our email list and see, we try to put out, I don't think I've done a single ad ever to our email list. Like, we try to just put out good, valuable information to them to help them make fitness practical for them. So anybody that wants to kind of join the ride with us, I'd love to have you.
That would be awesome. And so I think even though your actual work is in person and local, I think it's important that people start getting the information, because at some point, you know, who knows how you'll expand and how things will go for you, but people can engage you in that conversation. Where do I start? What do I do? And it will benefit them just to get the information, and then they can start from there and what works for them. And maybe they can find someone to help them do what you do. And as I said, as you grow, who knows where you're going to go.
Yeah, and yeah, 100%. And even for getting the business first, I'd love to help people. So if somebody actually is dealing with some issue and they want to reach out, have some guidance, or just talk things through, 100% message me right now. I'm happy to talk.
I haven't met a coach yet that says, no matter what, I really want to talk to people, because that's why we're in this. We're in this for service. We come to this, and you and I, as you just said, we come from our own health experiences. And so
Hmm.
we know what it's like not to
Yeah,
be 100%.
and to
And
not have
what we're
anybody on your
saying is,
case helping you.
right, we don't want anybody to have to go through what we went through. We figured it out for ourselves. Let us help you. And that's really our message today, that no matter where you are in life, where the state of your health, there's always something for you. There's always the option to get healthier, the option to grow. And Danny offers the fitness aspect, which goes beyond what I offer my clients. And so I encourage you, go to Fit2Go PT.com. Check out I had to think about it for a second.
Yeah, it's a little
And
tricky.
engagement conversation, and maybe we'll do this again next time, another time, when
I'd love
technology
to.
doesn't give us such a fluke. I just actually found out this morning when I went on to, because I do it for my computer usually, that only certain accounts can do so, two people in a Facebook Live. So it was the quick rush, get the phone, get the contact. So I want to say thank you for all those who stayed with us, and anybody who watches later, I apologize for all the glitches and stops and starts, but this is live, and that's what you get. You take it as it comes.
Hey, you know what we should do? We should figure out, I'll do it through and I'll figure out when the actual conversation started, and then just give people a heads up, just fast forward to here.
Sure, that's great. If you want to just post that in the comments, that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say thank you again, Danny, for joining me this morning. And really, this is straight talk. We're not kidding. Everybody needs to exercise in some format. It doesn't matter what your ability is. There is something that you are able to do. And I thank you again for joining me. And I thank everybody who's watching both live and when you watch it afterwards. And again, pardon our technology faux pas, but we're here, and we'll be here next week. I hope we'll be here. No, next week is the holiday. We may not be here next week. So look for my announcement. I actually believe that I am off traveling for the holidays. So I wish you a happy Thanksgiving. And I wish everyone out there also very happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you so much for having me, Angela. It was really a pleasure.
All right, we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good.
Okay, take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.